Not at all. What's up, everybody? I am Tyrone Wilson. We are going to discuss the first 3 episodes of The Never Ever Mets, Season 2. I do have a special guest on right now, Lex Royal. We are going to have some other guests come on later on during the show. And I just want to let everyone know that I watched every single episode, all 3 episodes today. So my head is kind of spinning right now. I do have notes for all of the different couples. I have my thoughts, and just seeing what everyone was going through in a short amount of time. It literally seemed like it was maybe one full day from what we saw, right? But I saw so many red flags. I saw so many things that I am fortunate enough to be mature enough to be able to recognize those things and be able to call them out. And hopefully we'll talk about most of it, and we get a chance to discuss. And in the end, hopefully we'll learn something, because that is always the ultimate goal. So P.O.'s also here. Lex and P.O., do you want to introduce yourselves to everybody?
Yeah, just so
Paul, ladies first. My bad. My bad, Paul. Go ahead.
Sorry, he came in late, so he probably thought I did it already. I don't know. Hey, it's your girl Lex Royal from now The Never Ever Met Season 2. I guess I'm a red flag. I don't know. Let Ty tell it. You know what I'm saying? So I appeared to get cooked. So I'm the Ready to Love admin. You know, that's a big thing that's been going around. So yes, I am a cast member and an admin. Somebody told me yesterday I went from the chair to the air. So I guess I'm gonna hold that, the chair to the air. I like that. That was cute. You know, so yeah, it's your girl Lex Royal. Stop laughing.
Go ahead,
Hey, P.O.
What's up? Just in case y'all didn't know, this is P.O. from Potomac, season 5 or 6 or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, we just tapping in to Never Ever Mets. I'm gonna have to troll Alexis, because you know that's just what we do. Now it's your turn. Ready to turn and burn.
Yeah, you went from guest to special guest now that the show officially aired. So you're on that screen now. Okay.
I do wait. First, my little disclaimer. I am still under contract, so certain questions I will not be able to ask. We will have to do this again after I get the clearance.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely forgot to reiterate that. Lex is limited to what she can discuss. So keep that in mind, everyone, when it's time to ask questions. All right. So one more thing. Because we are catching up on all 3 seasons, we won't get into as much detail as we normally do with the screenshots and the images and video and all that stuff. So we're just going to keep it vague a little bit this week for each couple and each person, and we'll move on from there. But I think we should start off with Sinko and Jay. And there's reasons why I want to start off with them. I think they're the most balanced. I think they're complete. I think they're on cruise control right now. They did mention that they had a 5-month, connection on IG. She don't know. Well, they're discussing if they're exclusive right now. The first date was on the court. She had picked that out for him. I did see the side hug, but I didn't really think much into it. You know, I know we examining hugs around here. Just felt like she already knew what the deal was, and she didn't really want to really do too much with the hug. But they did get a kiss on the first date.
Hey, Ty, could you do me a favor? And
yeah, sure.
When you talk about these people, do you have any pictures that you could bring up? Because
I do not have pictures.
Okay, That's all right.
right now, but I will.
Okay.
So they are the couple, the tall couple, right? We're on. Let's just pretend we've already seen it. It's been 3 weeks. We're on episode 3, so we're combining 3 episodes right now.
Okay.
They are, huh?
I have it up here now, so
Okay.
let's see where they are.
Yeah. So, early intimacy doesn't seem to be an issue for them. They are currently sleeping in the same bed and apparently have already hooked up in the shower, to which most of the other cast already seems to be aware of. So, for everyone in the chat, how do y'all feel about getting to the intimacy so fast? And what do you think about the couple, Paul?
Well, first off, I love it when they break the barrier of the intimacy and get right to it, because otherwise, I mean, they spend so much time talking to each other over the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That at the end of the day, I'm not if they already had the connection over the phone and they feeling each other in the real world, you might as well just get it all out the way, and then you know what you got at the end of the day. So I mean, it's not like they just met each other up off of the street, right? So there's time invested. They had enough time to get an emotional connection together, and so that's what they did. And if the emotional part is there, hey, you know what? Take it to the flow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mature decision, to make that happen. But I also feel like, this was the couple that were asking the proper questions in the months that they were talking to each other.
That's
so it just seemed like everything was smooth. And like, if you're still coming here asking questions, then I think something's wrong, right?
Big time.
Right now, you're supposed to just be riding into the sunset and trying to figure out if you could deal with someone else's physical presence.
That's true.
That's my thought. So you don't see any red flags when they're trying to get sex out the way early.
Nah. I don't think there's no red flags at all. Like I said, if 2 people like each other, I mean, I done seen people get to it from the club. So, if you have, what I mean? It's not like this is a one night thingy that they met each other on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a genuine interest in each other. Like I said, they talked about the things they needed to talk about. I'm sure they had transparent and open conversations leading up to them meeting, right? And so, I mean, what do you normally do if you're with somebody, even if you just courting them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna take some time, get to know them, see if they're a good match, and then if they are, you're gonna take it to that next level.
Yeah,
I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, Sinko did surprise me a little bit with being on the younger side, but still being one of the mature ones.
Right.
You could definitely see his maturity. So shout out to them. I feel like they're the number one couple right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Lex, you got any thoughts on them? No comment?
No, I just think that it's fair to say that, you have different age groups in there. And I think the younger kids are quicker to have sex, not calling them kids, but, the younger ones in the 20s, close to the, just turning 30 or whatever, they are quicker to have sex than people that I think might be a little bit older when they really trying to matchmake and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then at the same time, it's like, I know we talk about 5 months, but then like, is 5 months enough to really know someone that you feel like, okay, I know this person, and boop, that's something to consider as well. Like, it's kind of like, dog years to people years now.
Yeah, I think that's plenty of time if you asking the right questions and having the right conversation.
Right. I'm gonna be straightforward and honest. like 5 weeks in today's society to wait is way too long. Because a lot of times people are just, the fornication is like a handshake these days. Nice to meet you. Let's get to it.
Right.
Right.
Like in most cases, by the third date,
Yeah.
if there is a third date, then there's a quiet assumption that that's where we're moving to, or else, why would you ask to see me the second time and then even a third time? So one date a week, that's not even a month.
Right.
So
Yeah.
thought, Lex. All right. So far, 3 episodes in. Shout out to Sinko and Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Kiki and Brandon. All right. So
Oh boy. Yeah.
they have a 4-year relationship going, which is a lot of pressure. But we do have instances of Kiki's drinking, some insecurities around her weight. The very first date was a lingerie photo shoot. He seems to be into BBW modeling, and there's also a little bit of a alcohol dependency there. And there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot that we're seeing with them. You want to start first?
Yeah, where did sorry.
What'd you say?
I just want to know, where did you get the insecurity about her weight? Where did that part come from?
He mentions it in the first episode.
She does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she knows, I'm not saying that she isn't proud of who she is in her size, but there's mention that she is aware.
Yeah. When I first saw her on the show,
Mm-hmm.
I thought to myself, all right, are they trolling? Like, is this real or not? Because they're such an odd couple. I mean, just to take the elephant out of the room,
Mm-hmm.
they're just like an odd couple. But, again, people like what they like. They like who they like. And,
Mm-hmm.
The personality could have been fire. And it had to have been
Mm-hmm.
because they were talking for quite some time. I think that, as the show progresses and things like that, you start seeing more insecurities coming out of her, right? And I think that, it's easy to hide it's easy to hide behind a phone, a telephone, or a FaceTime or whatever. But in the real world, when you spend real time, you really start to see, how people move and certain things that people do will, let out the insecurity. And so I feel like, I feel like that's going to be one of the deal breakers and one of the things that blows that whole relationship up.
Yeah. I think in one of her opening statements, she said that she backed out of a few meetings because she was insecure about her weight.
Right.
So this is one of the couples where I was saying, sometimes you need to learn how to speak to each other. Understanding your person's apology acceptance style is important. They're clearly in the presence of each other for the first time. The way that I saw Brandon describe seeing her, it almost felt like a kink, right? I wouldn't call it odd, but it would be abnormal to see, on the show.
Right.
But he seemed to really, really enjoy it, which made me feel like it was a kink of his, especially on the first date with the lingerie and the pictures and all that. I think, could have been done differently. Could have been done to maybe he was thinking to, let her know that it doesn't matter to him and she can be loud and proud about her size. But, as the episodes start to go on, you start to see that, there's starting to be issues with the amount of her drinks and the way that she's acting while drinking.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been a big issue if she had some drinks, got a little tipsy, and then called it a night,
Yeah.
But I could also see from her perspective when she mentioned that she was just having fun. The only thing that I did take notice was that she said that, I think she's saying that it made her feel good. It made her feel better. And there was one more comment that made me feel like there is a dependency on the alcohol. And then unfortunately, she did mention that, she did take to the bottle after the passing of her mom.
Right.
So I definitely feel like that's something, that could have been spoken about, in the 4 years that they were talking. And maybe Brandon would have had a different understanding and maybe would have reacted differently, knowing that that might have been a dependency.
Right.
So
that goes back to what I was saying. Like, once you get in the flesh in front of somebody's face, those insecurities will start to show up big time.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm. So, question for the chat, for the group, and for you, Paul. Like, how do you call out a dependency without making someone feel really bad about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like, you have to set the level of transparency from the door and say, yo, listen, we need to talk because there's things that I'm seeing from you in this moment that I had no clue of, when we were talking over the phone. So let's kind of just level set and lay it out here as to what it is that, we need, what should we, what is it that I don't know about you that I should know? So that I'm not in a space where, this is something that's becoming judgmental. And, and that's, you just kind of got to open up the gates and let it flow. I mean, after 4 years, there should be plenty of level of comfort for two people to talk open and honestly like that.
Yeah. And I also feel like there's different ways. There's better ways to, quote unquote, like check your woman,
So I'm gonna ask a question. Did you guys see anything wrong at that time?
Yeah, it was bad. It was terrible.
What
I think he could have done it. I think you mean with him?
Oh, on his part.
Or her. Yeah, on his part. He definitely could have handled it differently.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, but I did say it and I don't, it passed. And I did say, to me, I felt like he could have just drank that first glass and then just asked for another. Like, I didn't see why it was like, can you fill it up? Like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, clearly there were some things that looked bad about it, and especially when she said it's just wine. It's not alcohol, where pound for pound, wine is what you would drink
to get drunk.
Yeah.
But see, and that's the thing. You have to, when people say these small little micro phrases, you have to really understand that the viewership on what she's actually doing is not it's not a problem in her head. So she's already negotiated that this is okay to do. I just got to watch the hard liquor around him. And in actuality, it's all equal. It's all equal in the same way. So that tells me that you have such a comfort level with wine as if you're saying it's just water. You understand? And you already have it in your head that, wine is not alcohol. Everything is fine. It's okay as long as it's not liquor. So that would be something to me that would be like a super red. Like that red flag would probably be as big as, as a high rise.
Oh. I don't drink, so I don't know.
I mean, if somebody says, if you see somebody smoking a blunt every 4 or 5 minutes, every 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, damn, you's a smoker. I'm like, nah, man, this ain't nothing but weed. So you're not a weed head, though. You're not like, there's no addiction. There's nothing here, but it's just weed. So you get to do this every 2 to 3 hours or whatever because it's just weed. Come on, man. It's still a substance. So,
right.
What are we hiding? What are we hiding behind the substance?
Yeah, I think on both of their parts, there's clearly some things that's missing that I feel should be understood. One, like if your partner's in there doing work, then at least make it look like you're supporting them in some way, shape, or form. I understand maybe she thought it was the men's kitchen in there, but at some point,
Sorry, no. Every night a couple cooks. So you pick the night you're gonna cook. You pick what you're gonna cook. So it's couples. It's not guys and girls. It's
okay. Yeah. Okay. So I might have missed that, or maybe they didn't give that impression that it was couples cooking.
Yeah. I don't think they probably didn't show it so far, but it is a couples thing. Like,
because it seemed like Ty just took over.
No, that was Ty. Well, I don't know. I'm mixing it up, but for our stay, the couples pick. So you pick what night you're gonna cook, what you're gonna cook, and you write it down, and everybody agreed. Like, okay, you cool with that? This, then, you know what I mean? So it's couples.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, in the end, I feel like there could have been better ways for her to show support to him. And then on his end, there could have been better ways for him to show his disappointment.
Right. So, and let's not like, I don't want to take it out like it's the woman's fault, because as a man, you still have to know how to talk to your lady, and you have to know what's appropriate or take appropriate steps when you're having a tough conversation with your woman. And that needs to be kind of, in a setting where it's, just you two, and, you have to set up the environment to allow her to be free flowing.
Yeah, especially in the group setting.
Right.
Like that, man. It's just harsh.
Right. I have a saying, when I'm dating or when I'm with a woman, it is, we always going to agree in public, but when we get home, we're going to talk about what the real issues are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's not looking good, right? Because Brandon's put no with the squiggly line, and she saw it. She saw it. And that's a tough thing to recover from.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be really, really tough to recover from. Ugh. So, if I was to guess, I would give it a thumbs down if I was to guess. Maybe she finds a way to pull through, and maybe I can see it as a success story.
I'm going to say this.
I can see it as a success story.
I feel like this is the OWN network's way of setting up, lifting somebody up to drag them down to build them back up again.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see her winning in the end too.
Yeah, the story. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The story has to. I don't think that they're gonna just beat her all the way down to the grisound. I think there's gonna be a turning point. She's gonna be uplifted, but then it's gonna be probably too late on Homeboy's behalf. He's gonna be like, "Yo, you know what? I appreciate everything that you did, yada yada yada, and I think that you're a good person and all of that, and I see you changing yourself, but for me, this just ain't gonna fly for me because I feel like I had the hood pulled over my head, and let's just shake hands and call it a day." This is the setup that I'm getting.
So I'm gonna have to push back. I don't think you're gonna just leave that easy. Like it's been 4 years. You know what I mean? He don't have 4 years to leave.
Yeah, no, but see the 4 years.
He's still there.
But the thing is 4 years over the phone versus when I meet you in person for 2-3 days, 4 or 5 days, like when the person that's in front of you does not measure up to who you have been, it's an off-putting, and it makes you feel like you can't trust somebody because of the things that they've done in one life versus the real world life. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah, I still don't feel like this issue should be enough to separate them. I feel like all of it together, because of the way that they were speaking to each other afterwards, made it blow up. But in the end, it's about her drinking, which can be fixed in his eyes.
Okay. I mean, I get your point. I see what you're saying. I'm telling you though, like just based off of what I'm seeing, I look at the pieces of the puzzle, man, and I swear to you, I could just catch that vibe. It's going to be sorry, not sorry. Too little, too late.
I feel you. Only because he put that extra squiggly in the no. Like that was a designer squiggly no.
I got a question real quick. I just want to know, can you guys do you think that you are watching this in an unbiased nature of Ready to Love?
Completely. I am completely. Because like right now, like the Ready to Love stuff is one thing. Like I know that they be on their bullshit or whatever. So when I'm watching this, I'm watching and I'm looking for character flaw inside of people, right? I'm looking for real human beings, and I'm trying to really gauge, who's doing what, and I'm relating these people to real world experiences of my own. And not,
Same.
not like, television.
Same, because they already know each other on RTL. Right. The questions that they're talking about on Ready to Love, I'm assuming everyone has already had those conversations already.
Right.
Okay. So I just wanted to make one thing with me was that when I went, I was scared. And I was scared because I heard all of these stories about Ready to Love. So when I was dealing with the production company, it was like, wait a minute, like I was on high guard, like, you know what I mean? And it was like, listen, like we're total different production companies. It's 2 different production companies. For some people who don't know, they might think that because it's owned is under the same thing, you know what I mean? And it's not. And I feel like a lot of people was watching it trying to get a little Ready to Love flavor and action too, and it's not that.
Yeah,
but
you got it.
No, I just wanted to make sure that you guys aren't taking Ready to Love goggles and examining Never Ever Mets with it. That's all.
Yeah, okay. No, this is totally independent from Ready to Love.
No eliminations. You ain't got no top 3.
Exactly.
You
got one and done.
trying to work things out. I'm hoping.
So let me ask you this: would you have done this?
No.
I think I would have done it. For me, I would have, if I didn't do, Ready to Love, I probably would have done something like this, only because you get to focus on one person. You don't have the pressure of, the elimination and building these connections and all of this stuff. And I mean, you don't get scatterbrained. You told this one that, and you got to listen to this one story, and it's a lot going on. You got 10 different profiles that you're dealing with, and you're trying to manage those versus just one person. So yeah, this is more direct, and I think this would be a more mature approach to a dating show, if you will. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ty.
All right. Let's talk about Tatiana and Clavacia.
Oh, okay, yeah. I kind of like their energy a little bit,
All right, let me go over these. Let me go over these recap bullets, and then I'm gonna say my piece. So they had a 8-month courtship. They got some strong chemistry. That first hug was good. He tries to go in for the kiss early, but she chooses to hold hands instead. You do see him cuddling and everything, but unfortunately, towards the end, we do find out that he does have a secret to tell her about his newborn child. And I'm hoping, and I'm gonna look in the camera, Clavacia, please, 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 please do not have sex with that woman before you tell her. Bruh, don't do it. Whew. All right. Now that I got that out the way, go ahead.
So I'm going to say this. I like their energy, their chemistry together. What I don't like is he folded, he caved like
Early.
when she came down the hill and said, "Yo, I overheard," which I think maybe production said, "Hey, I think they're talking about something. Get down there." You know how messy they be. Because I mean, you can't hear. They was whispering, and she talking about, "I'm way up here," unless but whatever. So she comes down. And, she's like, "So I wanted to hear, what about you didn't want to tell me?" And then he done switched the whole thing. "I was going to tell you I loved you, but I might be in love with you." Or instead of getting to the meat and potatoes, like, "Look, I don't want to BS you around and whatever. We here in this moment. You ain't got nothing to lose, dude. Like, this is the first time y'all met. You don't have nothing to lose. Tell her what's up." Because producing, what was it, a 2-month old or something like that? Or was it an 8-month?
What?
He said he had a 2-month.
8 months. They were 8 months.
Okay, 8 months. So, but he said he had an 8-month-old child, right?
He does have a child that I think is
2 months.
2 months old.
Right. And he was supposed to be, he's trying to figure out how he's going to tell her, about this child. I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry.
You know what I think?
Yeah.
I think he already know how she goes. Yeah. He already know.
But let it out the bag and get it out early.
He already know. He can't. Yeah. He can't, because that's why I say honesty is the best policy, right? Honesty is the best policy. I've seen some of my friends do this, but me personally, I have never, ever, never, ever denied my child. Yeah. Even if I'm meeting someone for the first time, it's the first day. I just met you 2 seconds ago. it's none of your business if I have a child or not. There
Right.
are some things that I would withhold the truth from. But
Mhm.
if you ask me, do I have any kids?
Directly, yeah.
I will never not say I don't have a daughter.
Right.
Yes, I have a daughter.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And clearly, he been withholding some information. And I think it's going to end really, really bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you had the perfect setup to just get it off, because the time for
Paul,
the time for understanding was in that moment, because there will be no mercy later on when it does come out, and she's like, "But you said that you was loving me and all this other stuff, and you mean to tell me how you gonna say that? But then you won't tell me this. This is some BS. This is 2 months ago, and da 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 da." Like, yo, it's gonna be a wrecking ball.
I believe he said something about his fiance came and just
Threw the
ended up
baby on
pregnant.
his lap. Yeah, she got it pregnant from the air. Like, yeah, she was just breathing and ended up pregnant. Now it's mine.
But still, I mean, I could understand if it was a situation similar to like Charlie and Jared, and they was both wrong. But to bring a woman on national TV to date, and you got 2 months at the crib that she don't know about.
Yeah, but also though, we don't know what she done been doing too. There may be a little bit of foolery on that side of the table as well, and so that may come out, and then it may be one of those situations where now that has unloaded, he's going to unload his stuff, and then that's probably going to be a double bang.
You see the man sweating for 2.5 straight episodes. He know what's up. He know what's up. He know it's like that feeling you're gonna get a whooping when you get home.
Yeah.
He know.
I would never have. But I would never have said, well, yeah, it's because I love you. Like, let's get real.
But I feel like if he knows there, he need to just be honest and say it, right?
Yeah. Like, man, get your ass out on this flow and tell us what it is.
Yeah, but there's reasons why he can't be honest because he know. I feel he knows he been dishonest. That's why he can't spit it out. So for the chat, right? How vital is honesty and background information before being intimate? Because I feel like that's clearly where he wants it to go. And can you recover trust after something being revealed to you like this? Because as a man, I feel your job is to keep your woman safe physically and emotionally. And you've been living a lie this whole time. I don't know. So he's not even good. He's not even good at this line.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'll say this though. Yeah, I just feel for the brother. I can't even.
Why?
I ain't getting.
Why? You mean you feel like it's going to be painful? He could have avoided this.
What I'm saying is that I feel for him that as a man, I got enough courage to say whatever I need to say to anybody at any time. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I don't give a damn who or what the situation is. I'm just gonna say it. And if you're a grown man and you can't like stand up on your two legs and say exactly what the hell it is, like that's something that you need to work on within yourself as a grown man, because like you said, keeping your woman safe and all that other stuff is a big part of it. But at the same time, if you don't have the confidence to deal with tough times or whatever, you ain't gonna be no good for nobody, not even yourself. And yes, it is kind of coward-like to back down from that.
Right. So now but you know that. But as
Yeah.
a man, there's only a few reasons in this world why you wouldn't want to tell a woman that you have a kid.
Yeah, because and one is that you about to get divorced and she gonna take half your shit. But
Oh man,
other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
if you ain't you don't have listen. End of the day, you meet somebody on the internet or whatever, wherever they met, on an app, whatever.
Mhm.
You don't have, there is nothing saying that you two are gonna truly be together. So at the end of the day, you are free to live your life until you guys come together under a solution. Okay. And so if he's not, if they didn't have a conversation of, yo, we exclusive, which how could you be exclusive if you never met each other, right? If they didn't have that conversation, then, there has to be some understanding in terms of that. And if not, I mean, okay, it's not that much of a loss if she walks away because you didn't have her anyway. This is the first time you're getting that person.
So I do understand what you're saying, but I also feel like he been living a lie. I don't know any other way to say it.
Yeah, of course he's living a lie. That's what I'm saying.
Living a lie.
Yeah, but you gotta lace your boots up, man, and you know what I mean, and to put the Timbs on and stomp on the pavement, bro. Let it out.
No, yeah. At first, you say that at first. I think he's been living as, oh my gosh. I feel for her. Like I said, I just want to reiterate. I'm hoping he tells her before they try to, get to the boom boom room again for the real thing.
They already been in that boom boom room, bro. You already know they've been in that boom boom room. That's why he's like, I think I love you. Because they done been in the room already.
Nah, so that thing right there, I think that's terrible, man. I think that's terrible. I think that might even be even worse than the lie. Because you gotta lie you about to reveal this information, but you're gonna say that I love you first.
Yeah,
that's horrible, man.
That's gaslighting.
That's horrible.
That's gaslighting like you never heard before.
Yeah, that's horrible, man.
Right.
And he had all the smooth words too. Angel wings, all this stuff. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He was smitten from the beginning, from the get-go.
Right, exactly.
Bro.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think it's gonna be real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that for her. Damn. Did we answer the question? Should kids always be disclosed up front? How you feel about that, Lex?
Should kids be disclosed up front?
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about in this virtual world or in person?
I mean, what is the point of, like, let's just hypothetically speaking, you're not just trying to smash, right? You're really trying to get to know a person. I know it might be rare these days, but let's just say you're really trying to get to know a person. Is that something that you would want to know?
Well, I don't just go around smashing people.
No, I'm not saying you.
No, I know, but with that, I'm not going to lie. I'm a very private person. So if you don't ask, I probably wouldn't tell you at first. And I probably would go on the first date. And then like say like we're dating, we're having conversation in the date and you ask me, depending on if I see a future with you, would I probably answer. And the only reason for that is like people are crazy these days sometimes, so I probably wouldn't be so forthcoming. That's in person. online now, virtually talking and stuff, then yeah, I think it should be disclosed.
Okay. Whew. Yeah. All right. Let's go to Brittany and Ty. Let's see. Let me make sure.
I gotta pull up my
more
legend
comments
here
in the chat. So Michelle's asking off the rip, and G Brown said, "I don't see the point of not disclosing that I have children. Why not tell?" Right.
I mean, I feel like
saying, definitely put it like.
I feel like you gotta say on the radar, yo, I got this many kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then give somebody opportunity. Now, I'm not gonna go give you details like they first, last
Mm-hmm.
names and social security numbers and all that stuff, but I'm gonna say, yeah, I got these kids. I got all kind of kids out here. What's good? So,
yeah.
All
right. Next up, we got Brittany and Ty. Brittany, 40 from Houston, Ty, 38 from Los Angeles, California. They did have a 3-month chat. She is a mom with a 3-year-old son. You could see that, that sexual tension in them when they look at each other. They did have some, that first hug chemistry that was almost like the perfect first hug, them bringing each other into their physical space. But as we start to move forward, you see that there's some friction going on, and you start to see that there's some things about him that gives her the ick, and I think it's clear. I think there's some things that just seem to annoy her about him, and I think. What was it? Towards the end of the 3rd episode, you can hear her in the background telling her to shut up, telling him to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So
okay. I think that I think Ty is one of those people that hides behind humor, right? We saw that in you see that in all kind of stuff where people. Sometimes they're either nervous or they don't want you to know about who they are. So they do use a lot of humor to distort from getting down to business and really getting, kind of interpersonal with you. And it just seems like he's doing a lot of that with her. Now, I don't know what they do, when the lights are off or whatever, right? But I feel like she's looking for substance. And he's kind of backing her off by keeping her laughing and giggling. And I know that a lot of women, obviously, they want somebody that has a sense of humor, that can make them laugh and stuff like that. They don't want somebody that takes themselves too serious. I just think that he's not letting it go. He's, it's more focused on let me make you laugh, and you ain't gonna learn shit about me.
I think he's I'm trying to think of a good word. I think he's kind of rigid, man. Is that a good word? Like I feel like he could be a bit much at times.
I don't know if I'm getting rigid from him. I'm getting more of like not serious. Like I'm here and I like what we got, but this is not, something that's love stricken. It's more like connection-ish and not, no meat and potatoes. It's just some meat.
But I'm also talking about the way that he moves, like as a person, not just with Brittany, but the rest of the group too. Like I think he had to respond to Alicia the way he did. You're a grown man. You're a grown man.
I mean, no, but see,
you can make exceptions for somebody that's new, that's in your kitchen.
See, but now when he was talking about Alicia like that, I felt him because I'm like, yo, if I'm cooking, you need to get your dude up in here and have him go pack groceries, and he could do you a side dish or whatever. But this is what I'm making, so find a way.
Come on, man. Come on. You got to be accommodating for all of your guests.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to go and change up my whole entire menu and cooking strategy because somebody wants to eat some vegan butter.
But you can say, all right, what would you like? Maybe I could throw something together.
How do we know that
for you?
How do we know that didn't happen and they just cut that?
We
Because
don't know.
I know, but so it seems like though he probably was like, well, I could do this or do that, and she's like, no, but I need butter. I need the vegan butter with the the gold label and whatever. And he's like, man, look, I ain't got time for all that shit. Like, you won't eat this, eat what I'm cooking.
But come on,
I
man.
would have did that.
She's not your kid, She's not your kid.
Understand.
And especially he may not be aware of her background, right? So if you got to be a little bit sensitive to other people's requests, especially if she's willing to come in there and make the request, unless you're just automatically assuming that she's doing it for shits and giggles.
Did you see her energy when she came in puffed up about the vegan butter?
Because it's important to her.
Understood, but
it's a health issue for her.
Understood, but you can talk to somebody and say, hey, listen, I know you guys are cooking, and I appreciate you doing that. I just want to let you know that I have an issue that I can't eat certain things. Not go put some vegan butter on that shit, and I'll be back for my plate.
I don't think she said it like that, man. I think he took it like that, but I don't think she said it.
Her
like
energy. It's there is a way though that when you talk to somebody, the first energy that you bring to the table is the energy that they treat you with. So if you come in kind and gentle, people will tend to deal with you the same way, unless you're just an ass, And he doesn't seem like he's just.
He's a grown ass man, though. He don't have to respond like that.
No, I understand that, but she's also a grown woman, and she doesn't have to, tax him like that coming in the door. So if you want something from me, if you want me to treat you one way, you can't just say, do this, do that, and I'm like, oh, okay. No, I'm not doing that shit. I feel his energy. I'd have been the same dude.
Damn, Paul. I feel like I would have found a way to. I would have. Like I could have found a way to word it differently or deliver it differently. I'm not squaring off.
And you know what I would have said?
National TV.
In that moment, I would have said, Irvin, come here, bro. You need to hook your girl up a plate with some vegan butter or whatever. We doing this over here. But
okay.
Yeah.
So wait. So let me ask you guys. So if you were Ty, what would you have wanted? You would have wanted her just to say it better? Should she have gone to Irvin and say, Irvin, can you make me my dish?
She should have. First off, there's I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to say. I don't want to. Like I'm not dissing nobody, but for me as a man, my woman should never be talking to another man about an issue. I should be the one doing that. So she should be saying to her dude, yo, they gonna make this food, blah, blah, blah. And I got that issue that we talked about. Can you see if they can, make it with the butter, whatever. Send your dude over there and have a conversation with the man. Like, yo, I see y'all over there cooking, man. She got a little stomach or whatever issue, whatever that is. Is there a possibility that y'all could, maybe do a little substitute with the vegan butter or whatever? And men tend to be more like, yeah, you know what? I got you, man. I feel you on that. Not going over there puffed up with your chest. You want to go talk to a grown man. You don't talk like, if you talk to a woman like that, a woman's going to come to you and be aggressive in that same moment. Like, yo, who you like? I'm over here doing this. You can't just come over here yelling, telling me what to do. So yeah, you send your dude over there, have a conversation with him on your behalf, and then you rock with it like that. I would never send my woman to make a complaint to the waiter about my food. I'm doing that.
But you know what's so funny? There's a lot of things in it, and I want us to visit the chat too, because Tamasha is saying a lot of good points for you guys. But one thing, right? It's so funny that I learned that when I was dating. Like I was dating an older guy, and I wanted to say something to the waiter, and I was looking, and he was like, "Well, what's the problem?" And then I told him, and he was like, "Well, I'll let him know." And then that's when I learned at that moment that the man will handle it, right? But I think that's something that you don't really know, because a lot of people aren't really dating these days, and they don't really understand. And then if you watch Instagram, what Instagram tells you is, Instagram is like, yo, I like the spicy chick because who else I'm going to get to tell the waiter my food is bad? You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a reverse. So the younger kids is saying like, oh, let the woman do it because she already is spicy, or she already got an attitude, or she already knows how to get my point across, and I could just chill. So it's really funny because, I mean, I lied to you not. That's a big thing on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like it's a running joke. It's like, yeah, she the one who will get my order right and things like that. But then the grown man, hey, Clifton in it. So a grown man is saying like, no, you talk to me, this, that, and the other. And in that time, I do think that that's how that exchange should have went. For me personally, she should have just went and got Irvin.
Yeah, you send your dude,
Yeah.
you send your man to go deal with another man. You don't come talking to me about your issues or whatever, and then you come up with a puffed up chest and you want me to give you some resolve.
Yeah.
Please.
Like,
But I do think also too, given a situation, because we have to use situational awareness on a lot of things as well. Given a situation, you do know that there's vegans in the house.
For sure.
So
They talked about that.
right.
And
So that's
right. They talked about that, but at the same time, then there should have been, maybe a portion of that meal or whatever that was for vegans, and I'm sure that there was, right? He probably was making some buttery ass potatoes and said, "You know what, man? I'm gonna make these mashed potatoes with that real butter, and you can put that vegan butter on your half."
but that's the thing. I don't think he was cognitive of the situation with the vegans.
I mean, he probably blacked out though when she came in there puffing up on him. He probably was like, "Oh man, the hell with vegan or anything."
Right. Let's
So,
run to the chat real quick. Keep them included. I can't
yeah.
see it though.
no, I can see.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm adding them. I'm adding the comments. What up,
okay.
Cliff?
Clifton.
But I think they both could have handled it differently. Like Martin said, don't ask Cole for the $20. You know what I mean?
Right.
Tell me, I go ask Cole, and then Cole get the money to me, then I get the money to you. But like I said, if they was having these conversations, like they should have been having, then Irvin would have been aware that that's a sensitive topic for her.
Right.
And would have
So-
already handled it.
So Tamasha pointed out that she feels that though he might have a temper because of the way he lashed out on her.
I mean, I mentioned that, like he's a little rigid, like it's a bit much.
Right.
Sometimes.
I don't know. I don't know if he's got a temper. I mean, I just think that he don't know. He's gonna talk how he talks, and that doesn't mean that you have to have a temper. Some people, just simply say exactly what it is and how it is. They don't sugarcoat.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather that communication for me than the beat around the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Clifton wants to know, does vegan butter taste like regular butter?
Hell no.
I wouldn't know. So
nah.
what do y'all think of Brittany and Ty's?
I think it's
status?
I think it's surface level. I think that they probably going to continue to, the intimacy part, and they're going to be long distance F buddies.
They had a really good date though, right? Y'all like their date?
Yeah, the date was cool.
Yeah, the date was cool. They did win the Kama Sutra.
Right.
But I feel like sometimes when you see the physical early, what is there after that?
What you mean? What you mean by that?
Because they made it seem really physical from the beginning. Maybe you might have missed it, like when they was on the boat and she was having trouble looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
So the tension was there. The physical tension was there.
Oh, okay.
Right? And you're supposed to be able to push that to the side. All right. Where we at? Let's talk about, I think we're on Charlie and Jared, right?
Wait, we there already?
Charlie.
No, Alicia and Irvin. Let me get my notes for Alicia.
Oh, Alicia and
Alicia and Irvin.
Yeah,
so
good, bro. I'm on load on this.
They were on a 5-month dating app match. They do speak to his Haitian background. Their first date was to be traditional Haitian dance, which is normally, you get closer to normal. She clearly didn't want to go there so early and wanted to focus on getting to know him. She did eventually end up speaking about her condition, and you can see some of the things that I feel he's emotionally immature about. One of the things that I clearly see was the way that he handled her saying that she doesn't feel safe. And as a man, like, that's your job, to make your woman feel safe, not to just walk away because you don't like what she said. I understand he tried to phrase it as, if a woman doesn't feel safe, a man's supposed to just walk away. But that's kind of like a random woman, not the person that's going to be your woman. Your job is to sit in there and let her know that you can feel safe with me. I'm not here to physically harm you. And if there's something that I'm making you feel unsafe about, I need to fix that right away. Kind of like if she said, you're not handling it in the bedroom, you're supposed to stop everything you're doing and fix that right away.
And how you do that is you put your clothes on.
I think that's a little. I think that's two different things.
No, it's definitely two different things. But I only mentioned it because with the same amount of energy that you would have put in to fix the sexual one, you got to do the same for the emotional.
All right. So let's just unpack this whole Alicia thing, because for one, from the gate, she was coming off as prudish, right? He's trying to establish some sort of
Was
connection.
she though?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because she was talking about, I don't know if I even want to do this or want him, touch me, and it was in a non-sexual way. And it's like, okay, I get it. People, I'm not touchy-feely all like that. Sometimes you want to get people up off of you. But at the same time, it was just like she was giving him no invitation to, he couldn't get past a handshake, like it was damn near like if he put his hand on maybe her shoulder or something like that, because some people are just like that. They have to feel, they got to touch in order to get emotional connectivity, right? And she was so much against that. That set the whole tone, I think, for his behavior, because the way that he was treating her after that, he started to, do nothing but see flaws and all. And I mean, the like this last episode to me was off-putting. I would have totally been like, man, you need to pack your shit. I'm out. I would have been done right then and there. No, we don't have to talk about nothing or whatever. Like, I met women like her before in my life, and it was an instant woof, just cut it. She's a bit she's a bit too much of a princess, and she wants him to live all in her world, doesn't want to come out of her own world. Everything has to revolve around what she's doing, and it has to be her way or the highway. There is no medium ground or nothing. So if the train ain't moving the way that she's directing it, it's a no. And for me and for him, he's probably on the same energy. Like, man, I'm not putting nothing into this. I don't blame him.
All right, so I gotta disagree.
Of course.
I gotta disagree. I'm seeing something totally different. I'm seeing a lot of emotional immaturity. I don't feel like she owes him anything. You know what I mean?
No.
Especially her body and
no, you don't owe
being able to touch her. He's not entitled to that.
No.
And instead of him feeling some way about her, what's stopping him from taking a step back, saying, what is it about me and the energy that I'm giving that's not letting her feel that way?
So I'll tell you this. The only thing that she owes him is an opportunity for him to further some sort of foster a good connection with her, because that's the intent. That's the intended purposes of this whole show, right? You're meeting the people and you're trying to see how you guys connect. I mean, she was off put about the Kama Sutra just because they were, trying to talk about it and say, she's like, oh my God, I don't know. I don't want him touching me and blah, blah, blah. Go home.
But Paul, man, like they're literally doing Kama Sutra positions on national TV, man. Like it's understandable.
What
that makes
about
you uncomfortable.
So if I get it, you don't want to participate in Kama Sutra or whatever, fine. But then, what about the painting? And it's just like, it's the smallest things. It's like, yo, what is going on in your world? Like, do you not, like, am I some sort of villain? Like, what did I do to you to even bring this energy on when we were talking and everything was fine before we got here?
No, they were literally just talking before they got there.
Right. But I mean, they had some sort of energy and connectivity to get them there. So what happened to that, and how did that go out the door? Where is that going to?
I think it's him. I think it's the way that he handled the first initial rejection.
Okay,
I don't think he handled it well, and he caught that attitude.
I would have thought that if I didn't see her go up to my man with the vegan butter issue and the way that she came puffed up. So it's a personality trait that she has going on with her where she doesn't know how to talk to people. She doesn't know how to have conversations that leads to solutions. Everything driven with her is issue driven. This is my problem. These are the problems I have. Yada, yada, yada. I say this, don't come to me with no problems if you don't have a solution. So she's bringing issues, but no solution, no resolution to the table.
That's the point of the conversation, is to try to come to a resolution with your person.
She doesn't. So
that means one. Like he is her problem. He is her problem.
Listen, if I say
you don't have a fix for him, that's what she's trying to get across.
Okay, now let's just have this conversation. If I come to you and say, you know what, the way that we did this show, this panel show sucked. The end. And not tell you, here's why. This is because we could have did X, Y, and Z. That's the solution. But if I just tell you that our whole panel show sucked, you're going to look at me like, well, fuck you too.
So
that's what I'm saying about communication is you can't just bark an issue and then not talk about the resolution of it. And that's what's missing.
So again, I feel like we're watching two different things, man. I feel like we're watching two different things. If you were to just look at the way that he was talking to her, just sitting in the room, right? Because even I was looking for reasons My first instinct when I saw them was she don't like him. But you can see scenes where they're holding hands. You can see scenes where she grabs his arm and she puts his arm around her, right? So you can see that she's trying.
I
right?
don't see
You can
that.
see. Well,
I got to
clear.
rewatch this.
It's on tape.
I'm going to go and watch this with a fine tooth comb for next time.
Yeah, it's on
because
tape.
I'm not getting that at all. I'm getting, look, you're not good enough for me, and I've made an exception to just be goddamn here with you, and you're not doing things my way. Therefore, I don't like this.
Wow, Paul. Wow.
That's what I get.
Wow.
I love this. I so miss this.
Listen, if that was a dude sitting in that bedroom and my sister's in there trying to tell him that we have conflicts and I'm trying to work them out, and he's responding like that, I would be like, bounce.
I would have said the same. I would have said the same thing as you, but for a different reason, because I would be telling her, or I would be asking her, what do you want him to do to resolve your issues? What do you want him to do?
Why do you feel like she is the one with the issue? They have the issue.
Okay, but here's the thing.
They have an issue.
Here's the problem with women, right? Women, and you know this, women say things and they automatically, just because they said it, they want you to think in your head that you understand the total picture of what happened. And you don't, because they never tell you, but they expect you to. That's like, you can never leave thoughts of a woman to have the question and the answer in her own court, because she's going to answer the question herself, and then you're going to be living up to that answer, and you have no idea what the hell's even going on. You don't know.
Paul, I really don't know what you just said, bro.
Okay. Let me just re-say this here. Let me reiterate that. So in other words, if a woman has an issue, in her mind, she believes that you already know what's going on. You know, she's pissed off in the corner and you're like, what's wrong? And in her mind, she's like, motherfucker, you already know what's wrong. You done did X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And us as dumb ass men, because we're not in their minds, really don't know what the hell we did wrong. And so they're over there fuming, thinking that we already know what the hell it is. So when we try to really pull it out of them and address it, they give us this bullshit energy, this off-putting energy, and you got to pull teeth to figure out what the hell you did wrong and then what the solution is going to be. That's ineffective communication. And it seems like that's the kind of communication that she's dealing with Irvin. With Irvin. So the thing should be, look, this is my problem, and here's my expectation, right? Not, you should just do this or whatever, barking orders. You can't do that. He's clueless. He doesn't know how to fix the issue because she won't tell him.
Again, like, you keep making it about her issue. Okay.
So then if you bring a car to me and I'm your mechanic and you say, here's what's going on with the car. It's doing this, and this. Sorry.
So basically what I'm hearing, okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. And once I get the car and I receive it and I say, okay, here's the problem, and this is what we're going to need to do to fix it. You have to make a decision at that point to say, okay, I'm okay with fixing this, or I'm going to just walk away and not fix the car at all. She's saying he's coming. So that's what he's doing. He's like, yo, here is the things that I'm seeing. And he's giving it to her. And then she's telling him one thing, but no solution. She's telling him what's wrong, but nothing. Like, how do we rectify this?
Because he won't let her get to that. I feel like I feel like
we are watching two different shows. Bro.
We definitely are. I feel like he had a certain expectation for how he felt that his first initial date and meeting was gonna go. It didn't go that way, and he been butthurt for 2.5 straight days about it. But do you feel like he handled those situations properly? The conversations. Do you feel like he handled those conversations?
I feel like he could have handled those conversations a lot better, given the fact that he had no way to to grab some understanding, right? Because of the lack of communication, he went emotional on her.
Okay. All right, so let's run some of these comments. You got people that's saying anything. Let's do that. And I'm gonna tell you, it just sounds like one is Team Alicia and one is Team Irvin. I think this is a really, really good topic, and it's something that we should definitely revisit because what Paul is saying really is really not that off. And I'm not speaking in the terms of Alicia and Irvin, because remember, I'm under contract, so I can't talk about that. But as far as like what women do expect men to know where they messed up, and they feel as though they should know. And then when she got to explain it to you, she feel like you're not really into her or paying attention to her, and things of that nature. So I understand both parts of it, but I think you guys are just going to continue to go in circles trying to prove each other's point, so let's run some of the comments.
You're right. I like this one. So I think I mentioned it earlier, why it's important to understand someone's apology acceptance style, because he seemed like he took this as disrespect.
What you talking about?
By this comment right here by
the yoga?
Yeah.
Do you think it was disrespectful?
I think there was things that we didn't see about how it was handled.
To me, that is her flushing the toilet on him. She flushed the toilet on him because you're not good enough for me to get up early in the morning with. But I'm gonna rock with those people that I didn't even come here to be with. I came here to be with you, but I'm gonna supersede who you are and go rock with those people. Hell yeah, I would be pissed too. Well, why am I here? Why am I here?
Good point, Art.
Okay.
And I feel like when someone deals with you in that tone, that sets the tone that you deal with them. And so they will forever be bickering because they're just now getting to know each other in the real world. Mm-hmm. And you like, yo, I ain't realized you was this goddamn petty. Or I ain't realized you wasn't rocking with me like that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder to figure out. Somebody said something about like communication styles and things of that nature. I think that's kind of hard to gauge when you are virtual. I think that it's real easy to put your best face on to have a conversation for even an hour or so, or even if you're going through something. Like I remember I used to do a long distance relationship. My ex used to live in Cali, and to him, it was kind of like, well, I'm here for the moment. Let's enjoy this moment. And then we can talk about stuff later on when we go back home. And it was just like, what? Like, so I think people view things like me. I'm like, well, let's just fix it now, whatever, and his thing was like the time was more valuable. So I think, people have different outlooks on those things. And it's really hard to discover until you actually in person and something actually comes up, But both parts could be true. I mean, it could definitely be true for what both of you are saying because they are two individuals and,
Yeah. I just feel like I said, this is going nowhere fast, and I think that there's going to be probably a larger blow up because you have two people that have stored animosity on both sides. She's got a storage because he's not in her mind, understanding her and keeping her safe and things like that. And on the other hand, it's like, yo, she mad, disrespectful, like she doing this, doing that. She ain't really rocking with me. Like I could really give to, whatever's. So I feel a blow up coming down the line from these two.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
For some reason, I feel like I missed a conversation about how they had the conversation about missing the yoga and how it was addressed. I may have missed that. I may have missed him asking her why she missed it and what her response was as to why she missed it. But it feels like, well, from what I saw, she missed it, and therefore that automatically means she's disrespecting me. So I may have missed something. I'll go back and watch it.
Yeah. Let's stick a pin in that.
Yeah, stick a pin in it. All right. We're gonna skip the follow-up questions for this relationship, but what do you think? I think Paul, you already said it's going downhill fast. I mean, they're already at therapy right now. That's never a good sign. What is this? Day 2? Day 3?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and they're already at therapy. So
right.
Yeah.
But may I ask, how long did y'all film that for? The whole show?
About 3.5 weeks.
6. Oh, that's it? Okay.
All right. Let's talk about Charlie and Jared. I think we got 2 more people, right? We got Charlie and Jared, and then
Chris and Alexis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody gonna get tore up on this one. Somebody gonna get their ass. No.
Charlie and Jared have a 4.5-year virtual bond. They both kept pregnancies secret. They got a total of 6 kids between them. She has already tattooed his name on her. Apparently, they ain't never been intimate.
Until they just met, you mean?
Yeah, man. I was on this. You know what? I was rooting for Jared. I was rooting for him to be like a stand-up guy. Because at the beginning he said, we both came out with our truths. I'm at least gonna try to see what we could do. But then the big reveal, and then another reveal. Now we know that he there to smash.
Yeah, he's trying to clap cheeks.
And I'm not saying that I agree with him, but I understand.
Right.
I understand.
What you understand?
I understand that he may feel like it ain't going to end well anyway. She done held 2 other kids from him. It's been 4 years. She want to smash anyway. I mean, at this point,
right.
But she gonna get mad? She gonna get more mad? He's gonna always one up her in the getting mad department. You held 2 more from me.
Now, so she got a
he
total.
May feel like he got a couple free passes.
She has a total of 4 kids, right? She's got 4 kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah.
Jared is he came off kind of, you know, mad, disrespectful with the smashery thing. Like, yeah, I'm here. I mean, hell no, this ain't gonna work. I'm the tap while I'm here. I'm gonna keep doing this thing. I mean, that's just grimy because when she saw that, I can imagine how that made her feel in that moment. But at the same time, me being a man, I'm like, yo, I got to come and take care of 4 kids, 4 extra bonus children, man. You know, when the dinner table set, I want to be eating the big piece of chicken, and if it's on one of them 4 kids' plates, I'm taking that off.
But you literally woke up with 6 kids.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have 6 kids yesterday.
Right.
But I possibly got 6 kids today.
Right.
Jeez.
Here's the real root cause issue, though. You know, and this is something that women should be aware of across the table, especially when you're dating, you have multiple kids. You know, you have to understand, or you have to wonder, first off, what man is going to assume the responsibility of taking care of 4 other children that do not belong to him? That's number one. And number 2, what are you giving him to incentivize him to do so? Because you can get ass from anywhere. Just saying. And so typically when you combine like these larger families and you bring in somebody off the street to come, you know, take care of your 4 kids, he ain't gonna be shit. He ain't gonna be shit. Like if y'all ain't got no real, you know, roots together, no children together, especially, nah, he ain't doing shit for you. He gonna be out. He gonna treat you like dog shit because at the end of the day, he can leave and go home and have his peace. And so for him, he's already made it known. Yo, I'm just coming to tap. So, you know, if I did rock with you, you know what it is when I pull up. You know what it is, and I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna wash or wipe off, and then I'm gonna leave out. And that's pretty much the basis of this relationship as it stands. There is not going to be a moment where he pivots and says, hey, I really do like this. He made it plain. He said, hey, oh, no, hell no.
He said, F no.
Yeah, well, that too. So, yeah, that's going nowhere fast. Again.
Yes. So what gets me is that there's, so I don't want to say it's similar to Tatiana's situation, but I feel like it's always good to be honest first. And he's carrying it totally different. So she's probably believing something else. When she even admitted to feeling his energy shift, so she knows, she's aware, and he still lied to her and said that he wrote yes.
Yeah, that was the POS move right there.
Yeah, so you know, it went from thinking that, you know, Jared is understanding, they're gonna try to work something out. He's gonna try to make a push because she revealed that she do got a big house with 6 bedrooms. But he just doing all this just for the smash. I can't, you know.
I mean, so, but see, this is the thing. When a woman, like you met this dude, you got, I mean, like both of them deserve each other. Honestly, they deserve the hell that they about to put each other through because they both lied about having, you know, these one-off kids and all this other stuff. And they talking to each other, you know, 4 years and all that stuff. So what did you think, like, how do you disappear kids when you finally meet somebody? So either they had the intention on never being serious with one another and playing a game just to get what they could get and leave, or they was going to disappear these children, which I doubt they were going to do.
Or
So
maybe
they're the hell that each other deserves. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, or he never cared to begin with.
No, they didn't.
Because how you not know a woman got 4 kids, man, that you care about?
I'm not interested.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does her having money help with accepting her children?
No.
No,
I mean,
no.
all right. I'll take that back. I think in the end, it's about how much he cares for her. But does the money help? In this situation, I'm gonna have to say no.
I'm gonna disagree with that, because depending on who you are as a man, right, and the respect that you have for yourself and for women is going to determine if that money is going to make a difference. Now, based off of what he's saying and his attitude and his behavior, I feel like, yes, absolutely, the money is going to be an added bonus for him, because you see the piece of shit move that he did when he said, "Oh yeah, I said yes, baby girl, you already know." So he's finessing her, and that's just the beginning of it. You don't think that when they leave or whatever, well, it's too late, because she probably saw the show now, and this
They already in the boom boom room, man. They already in the boom boom room.
Right, but I'm just saying this is still stage 1 of finessing, and he's gonna try to be like, oh well, shit, if I can get yeah, I can maybe squeeze a car out of her, or squeeze something, depending on the type of money she got. I don't know what she got, you know what I mean? But there are people like that he seems, based off of his attitude, he seems like a taker. He's gonna take whatever he wants, whatever he can get his hands on. He gonna take it.
Yeah, maybe
But
I was speaking
if that's true, why would he put no then?
Because he put no, because he was speaking his heart in the dark.
And well, nobody
but he
gonna
lying
see
to her in the real world, gaslighting the shit out of her. So
maybe I was speaking for myself when I was saying that money wouldn't help. Like I wouldn't trade extra money for additional children, because I know what that means. I know what 4 extra kids mean.
Yeah, that means you're gonna be up at that school a lot.
Y'all are done. Y'all are done. Y'all are dedicated to children.
Yeah, exactly. Shit. No, bruh. I just feel like though, homeboy, he made himself super undateable for anybody. Like after this show, if anybody watching that,
man, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad look.
I'll be excited to see the next episode.
Okay.
So wait.
Go ahead.
Are you guys enjoying the show overall? Did I ask that?
No, you didn't.
I'm enjoying the fact that I can see my past issues in a lot of the people right now. And it's helping me reinforce some of the things that I've already learned. And that comes with maturity, loss, learning, being able to take a step back. Hopefully they can see themselves on camera and be able to learn from what's going on. Because I feel like I've been in a lot of those situations. So, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. I didn't really watch the first one. I watched a couple of episodes of the first one, and then I never followed through. So this one I've been like on it just because, for one, you're on there, and I want to talk shit on you, and then but this has been a it's been a pretty good start to the season. So yeah, I mean I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So you think they should do a season 3?
Yeah, for sure.
I think they could do a season 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now that I have the concept. Like I thought Never Ever Mets meant you ain't never met them. And
Right.
then now
too.
you gotta get together and make a decision.
Right.
You know.
Kind of
But
like Love is Blind.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jared
All
said to
right.
tell y'all hi.
Who that?
Who?
Jared.
Oh, okay.
He's
What up,
watching.
Jared? Okay, what up, Jared?
Jared?
Yeah, what up?
Who's Jared?
Jared.
Jared, who y'all talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, Jared.
Like you can roll
God
with him.
damn.
Because you know,
Yeah.
like I think he'd be a good wingman.
Yeah. I'll say so.
Huh? Yeah.
Jared, bro. Jared, you
As
in
men,
trouble,
can
man.
y'all have respect for a woman that lies that long about her children and leaves her newborn to be with a man?
It's quality of woman. That's what I'm saying.
No.
So here, that's what I'm talking about.
But
Go ahead.
so for me, at this point, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't even bother. I would just leave. I would leave her alone. I wouldn't even stay in it.
I mean,
To smell, like I wouldn't, because I would feel like I'm losing at this point.
well, and that's what I'm saying. So, like my man said, hell no, I don't want that. But I did come to clap cheeks. So and when you do that, that's the situation you set yourself up in. That's what you get. You know, as they say, when you play with a-holes, what do you get? Shit. So
I ain't never heard that before, but that's interesting. It's true.
yeah.
All right, wait, let me.
And the fact that she got his name tatted on his neck says a lot about her self-esteem.
But I also feel like I wonder what conditions he was aware of before he allowed that to happen.
It wouldn't matter because he doesn't have control over what somebody else does. And that's the thing. When people make these stupid ass decisions to do stuff like that, they don't have the ability to like a man doesn't have the ability to stop somebody or make somebody do that. Now, no, there's no, like, you're a grown ass woman. And so at the end of the day, if you're grown, you make grown up decisions. And if you want to go and ink your neck with somebody else's name or whatever the hell, that's on you. That's a you thing. Now you can't blame him for doing it. Even if he didn't tell her to not do it, I would be flattered. If somebody wanted to tattoo PO all over their body, go ahead. Hell, it's good advertisement. Shit.
Come on, Paul.
I'm not gonna stop you. Like if that's what you feel like doing, go for it. I'm not doing that shit.
See, that's how you get sliced up, Paul.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. I have no control. I have no control over that.
All right, we ready? We ready?
Yeah.
Jerry, Charlie. There was a time where we was gonna wish y'all the best, but
you
let us know what it is. So
yeah,
I hope it was worth it. I hope it's good. I hope y'all enjoy y'all physical time in the boom boom room.
Well, let me just say this message in closing to Jared, because since you're watching, I would like to tell you specifically, my dude, by all means, do not create another child with this woman. Because then you'll really be locked in. So, yeah. Good luck.
Yes. All right. We got Alexis and Chris. These some of my notes.
We got aggressive Alexis, is what they said.
This is some of my notes. So they got a 1-year mutual friend introduction. It says there's some early control issues with the paw prints and requesting public apologies. There's some childhood trauma triggers and some gaslighting vibes. And Lex, when you first got on, I felt like, you know, you was in there, you was going to take your time, you was going to observe everything. But I feel like there's clearly some moments where you lose control and you start to act in your own little natural way. I feel like either you enjoy that or that is almost like you're a way that you vet somebody. Like, what's the best way to put it? Like Monique says, if you can tell me no, you could tell me no. But if you, like, what does she say? If you could tell me what to do, you could tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, then you can't tell me what to do.
Well, let's go in parts. What are we discussing at this moment?
You. I feel like you like to push the envelope. I feel like there's some sexual tension there too. I would like to know what your previous dating relationships was like.
Well,
too.
let's talk about this subject here though. and so I'll tell you this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to say this in sort of defense of Lex, right? Because Lex is a Caribbean woman, right? And they operate a lot differently than the American women, right? And so when Chris is saying aggressive and all of this other stuff or whatever, it's not. And like, to me, you know, I like when I saw, you know, like kind of how Alexis was moving, I was like, okay, that's a Caribbean woman. And like, so you have to understand culturally though, the alignment. Now, sometimes there are certain things that Caribbean people do. Like, you know, you go, like if you went over to somebody's house and you saw them out in the backyard, you know, washing white clothes in the pan, you would say, why you don't do that shit in the washing machine? You got washer and dryer in your house. But some people are accustomed to doing stuff certain ways, right? And so it may look weird or different or off-putting or whatever. And so understanding, like, you know, I don't think that it's an aggressive component. I think that in those moments, she's asserting herself as, yo, I'm rocking with you. And like, you know, this is the way that I'm showing you that I'm open. You understand what I'm saying? And his reciprocation, though, is like, he's like, oh no, you know, hold on, take your time. And you know, so she's like, yo, we've been rocking. Like, I mean, I'm feeling you. You said you're feeling me. What is all of this extra limitation for, like, that we talking about? That's real talk. Like, because when I see him, if you put Chris in, if you put Chris in Jamaica and you put him around a bunch of girls and he acted like that, they would have a different word for him. And they would be like, yo, what's wrong with you? You understand what I'm saying? So I just think it's the cultural balance that's, you know, that there's, I can't explain it to you, but I understand where she's coming from. I understand where he's coming from, but it's not pairing well on television. So it looks like she's more, you know, at him, but it's just a different way of expressing that you really feel somebody. So that's what we're seeing play out.
What would you call it if it was the other way around?
I would call it, well, if he was, you know, going after her like that.
What would you call it? Yeah. What would you call it?
I would say he's hunting. I would say he's hunting. I mean,
What you call it,
but
So in his defense, only because of some of the things that he mentioned, right? He mentioned some of his childhood trauma, which could lead to, some forms of PTSD.
Mhm.
And it's not that he necessarily doesn't like it. It's the fact that he has no control over it. And when you don't have no control over it, it may feel a little bit more aggressive than normal. And if you don't have control over the good things that come in, then you definitely don't have control over the bad things that come in. And your presence alone gives him anxiety because there's no telling what you're going to do or what you're going to say.
All right. So we have Lex. We have the lovely ability to have her in this moment.
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask you a question, Lex. Have you ever disclosed to Chris that you are Yachty or that you're a Caribbean woman?
Yes, he knows. Yeah.
Has he ever asked you about your culture?
No.
Exactly. Has he ever asked you some of the, things about like how you grew up and, what was the conditions of where you're from? What did you eat? How did you learn how to cook? Things like that. Did he tap into that part?
No. I don't, to be honest with you, I think just like anybody else, I think everybody has in their mind about different cultures. Like if somebody says they're Italian, you think certain things about Italian. You know what I mean? Like those stereotypical things and stuff like that. Now, he said that he's had experience with Jamaican people before. You know what I mean? So no, I never went into, we never really discussed none of that.
Right. So here's the thing though, right? I think part of getting to know somebody is to get to know who they really are. And if somebody discloses to me that they're from like Nigeria or they're from, Cape Verde, whatever, and that's not where I'm from. I'm going to ask, okay, so what, how did you guys do this? Like, what were some of the things that, you grew up with? Take me through what your childhood looks like or looked like, so I can get a better understanding of who I'm dealing with, right? And so once you do understand these certain things about, the way a person's upbringing was, you tend to be able to understand how they navigate. And then you get and you're not so much judgmental based off of the things that they do. You understand? And so like how you said, Ty, he's got these traumas or whatever that, that he's got to deal with. And so understanding that, yes, absolutely. There may be a point where, this may come off as being uncomfortable for him. However, everybody doesn't, we haven't grown up with those traumas. I haven't had the traumas that he has. I haven't had the ones that you have. I have my own traumas, right? And so you never know how somebody moves until you talk to them. That's a part of the communication process. And so has he ever said to you, and maybe you can or can't say right now, but have you ever had the conversation of, all right, why are you this way in terms of aggressiveness? Because that's the way that it's coming off to him. Has he ever said, why are you so aggressive towards me?
No, but you know what? What's so funny is that he would say aggressive and I would own it. I'm like, yeah, I'm aggressive. You know what I mean? And it is funny, right? Because, and I don't know, I'm hoping this doesn't have anything to do with my contract, but so I came home because I really didn't understand. So I came home and I asked women that I know, right? Because I really felt like I kind of felt dumb in a sense because it was like, why is aggressive bad? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's wrong with being aggressive? Right? So if I ask a Caribbean woman, if she's aggressive, mostly a Jamaican woman. If I asked a Jamaican woman if she's aggressive, everybody said yes across the board. Boop, 6 of them at work. Boop, yeah, we aggressive. And they like, why would you ask such a dumb question? Like, you know what I mean? So then
Exactly.
I asked a Black American, and all of them said no, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so explain it to me. Like, what's wrong with being aggressive? But see, when you ask certain people, they take off what social media says. Like, oh, because, you know, other races be like, Black women are aggressive and, you know what I mean, and things of that nature. So it's like they just automatically take it as a negative term. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, a lot of people just get caught up in the word. But I'm like, okay, so then I had one girl, she was a Bayesian, and she explained it to me, you know, and she was saying how for when a Black American, when they say aggressive and stuff, it's like combative, argumentative, things of that nature. But that's not what it really means for us as Caribbean women. That
It's
just means we
assertive.
strong.
It
Huh?
means assertive, not
Yes.
it really means assertive.
Right. So it's just a different behavior all across the board. But at the same time, it's like, you know, we don't sit down on the side and cry, and you're not gonna get us like, you know what I mean? It's just a difference. But it doesn't mean the argumentative and the things of that nature, you know?
Right.
So
There's a term, that they say in Jamaica is like big up your chest, right? So that means like, you know what that means. But like if I
right.
said that, so people and it's hard, I can't really describe I mean, I can't describe it to you, but that just means that, stand on what you stand on and don't let nobody tear you down or whatever. Like do you. And like, I feel like they're using the assertiveness from her, and they're turning it into aggressive, because I don't know if they know that you're Caribbean, on the show itself.
You know we can't hide. I don't think
I know that, but but I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
think it could be hidden.
but I'm just saying I don't know if the viewing audience knows that.
Oh, yeah, no,
So
yeah, probably not.
when you say aggressive, it becomes the connotation of what African American women are known or tagged with, I should say.
Right.
And right. And so, it's one of those words that, yeah, you may look at that and be like, okay, big deal. But it's really a misused and misaligned word for what you're actually exhibiting.
Right. And it's so funny. I don't know if you were on it, Pio. We actually went through this a couple of episodes of Ty's podcast, because I was saying somebody was aggressive and all the guys was like, no, you can't use that word.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But
Yeah,
and I think that was our disconnect too, because he would say it, but then it was kind of like
so what? I mean, yeah, well, okay. I'm aggressive. That's but a typical Jamaican woman is gonna have that behavior when they know what they want. If they know what they want, they're going, they're gonna come after what they going after. And
right.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. Like, to me, because I could see, like, it's so funny because when I watched that scene play out with the painting, I was saying to myself, okay, if this was, a Jamaican man, it would be a totally different thing going on across the board. It'd be a totally different headspace, whatever. But because it was something that landed in the wrong zone, I guess, it was misread as something else. And I was like, yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna explain this real quick too. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No,
I just thought about it. So what happened is, and I want to explain this to everybody, and I know I have to do this a couple of times in the future too, is that a lot of people don't understand. Like, they just saw body painting and thought it was just like finger paint on a body. Body painting is kind of like under that BDSM umbrella, right? And I I ain't gonna say that I'm all BDSM, but I'm in it. I play in that world a little bit, so I already have the experience of the body painting, right? So a lot of people, if you notice that a lot of them are drawing little things as if they was on like a easel, you know what I'm saying? Where I know what a body painting is. So it was like I'm in a total different zone. But I just want everybody to understand that's what body painting is. You can go to your neighborhood adult store, you can get body paint, you can actually get chocolate. They actually have different flavors and stuff, so you can actually eat it off and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where. So I just need people to understand that, because I think they just thought we was in like kindergarten, and you know what I mean? Like it's a part of that fetish world. So
Right.
I get what y'all are trying to say. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm familiar with it too.
okay.
You can have an understanding of how people are in different cultures, the stigmatisms that come with different cultures. You could say Latin women are feisty, right? But the aggression is subjective, and it's about the aggressee and how they feel about the situation.
Yeah,
we mentioned aggressive because I'm a man. Like, I know what aggressive is. It was aggressive.
What was aggressive?
But I got in trouble for just saying the word aggressive, right? Like, forget my feelings, forget what I know, forget my experiences and everything. Because I even said the word aggressive, that was the issue. I called a black woman aggressive. But in my mind, it's aggressive. So I should be able to say that. So that was the thing that we was talking about. But I think there's different levels to it. You know, the game was about consent. And if you say you're in that world, then you know consent is a big thing. It was about consent. Go ahead.
All right. Now this I know I'm gonna get in trouble. I did ask for consent for his chest and his back. But you know, when you in it, like you just kind of forget. So it's like, can I touch your shoulder? Can I touch your arm? Can I touch it? You know what I mean? It's just like, I forgot.
You kind of forgot. Everyone else?
But wait, you know what's so funny? Hold on. No. You know what's so funny? And I want you to watch it back, right? Clavacia forgot to ask. Different people forgot to ask, but nobody else got labeled but me.
Because I feel like yours was also a little bit emasculated.
I don't think that.
You put paw prints on that man, Lex. You even had some comments. That was even I was like, oof.
What's the paw print?
Had to sting. Huh?
Wait, you talking in riddles. First of all, what's a paw print? My hand?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you said there was some comments
something that you said about his back, something about claiming or something. I forget what the. I
put my name on it. She was like, "She's like, what you done?" I put my name on it, so I was like, "I'm claiming it."
Okay.
That's to me. I look at that as being assertive. You know what I mean? And I don't care. Like, if any woman was painting on my body or whatever like that. Over time, as a man, I'm gonna forget to be like, you didn't say the magic word, like, you know.
But
what I mean? Like,
you could clearly hear him
clamoring.
You know, make some suggestions and say some things. Like, you can hear him say things like, "Yo, chill out, like, be cool."
You can hold up. You heard him say, "Chill out."
Yes, you can hear what he's saying. You can hear.
I didn't hear that. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
I listened to it with the things on. You can hear him.
Okay. Now we're gonna revisit that part.
Okay. No, I'm pretty sure there's things that he like and don't like in certain situations.
So here's my final thought on that is this. I think that Chris it is not prepared to deal with a Caribbean woman. You know, I don't think that. And I'm not saying that, you know, he. I just don't think that. I don't think that he has the mindset to take Lex on, because this is just that to me, that's like just surface level stuff. Like if you're dealing with a Jamaican woman, like that's like nothing.
But you have to understand you have to understand that also translates
yeah, I understand
other portions of the relationship.
I understand. That's what I said. He's not.
He want to go right. Lex say make a left. He got worried about the consequences of not making this left. Like it could be anything.
Yeah, so he's not prepared to have a woman.
But that's
like
how he's. That's how he could be thinking.
Yeah,
because of his past, because of his traumas, it's a lot worse than what you may think it is.
So wait, okay. To me, when you say he want to make a left and I say whatever, that to me that sounds like controlling. I'm not controlling. And I can be aggressive and still be feminine. I can be aggressive and still be submissive. I'm a submissive woman. You know what I mean? But I'm still individual. I'm aggressive. I'm an alpha. I'm an alpha female to its highest degree, right?
Mhm.
But I do not emasculate men. If something was to happen in any exchange in my whole entire life, I think that's more considered on the man because I'm very conscious of it. You know what I'm saying? I am very conscious of who I am, how I operate, all of these things. So I don't even want a man that I can control. I don't want a man that I can emasculate or whatever. I don't want none of that. I don't want a yes man. I don't want none of that. I'm not even attracted to it. You know what I mean? So that's not my thing. So when you say that if he want to go left, he got to deal with that. I never told him what to do.
I wasn't saying that. I was just giving an example of how it could translate to other portions of the relationship.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because one of the things, like he would say that I was controlling, right? He mentioned controlling a couple times. I'm asking you guys now to explain to me what controlling is.
I didn't see anything controlling. Now, to me, when a woman is controlling, she wants to, you know, there's no, what do you call it? No like boundary. So in other words, if I'm like, yo, I got something to do tonight at 8:00, and you're like, well, what is that? And I'm like, it's just some business I got to take care of. Well, why can't I know? And why can't I be there or whatever? That's controlling. Like, or telling me, you know, instead of going out with the fellas to have a beer with the guys because I don't get out much, you're like, well, why do you have to go out with them tonight when, you know, you could be here with me? I don't understand why you want to go run and be with some men. That's control. Like, that type of behavior is definitely controlling. But when you say to somebody, you know, I'm dying at another round.
Yeah, we're trying to focus on this right now. But Jay,
she's hilarious.
We see you, Jay.
Wait, I missed the joke. What she said?
I mean, Jay got some comments, but we're gonna focus on this convo right now, bro. We almost did. We almost did.
But I'm just saying. At the end of the day, I didn't see anything that exhibited control. You know, like I said, it might have been, you know, assertive and, you know, upfront and stuff like that, you know, and you just kind of didn't beat around the bush about how you felt. And I mean, to me, that's okay. To him, not so much. Ty?
Okay, yeah. So some of the things that can be viewed as controlling is, you know, doing what you want to do when you want to do it, and then describing it as aggression, right? And saying it's part of your culture. When, you know, the dude looked uncomfortable when you was going up in his pants or touching his crotch, right?
I didn't touch it. Wait, I didn't touch his crotch through his legs. I didn't do that.
Okay, so it looked like he was clearly trying to tell you to stop, right? So that could be considered as controlling, right? You're not listening. You're clearly not listening because, like you said, you're in the moment. You're probably feeling good. You're probably waiting to get there anyway. Also, like, that's a form of pushing people's boundaries. And I know how that could feel, right? Especially if you could get someone to come around and be on your level. But he not there yet. So to him, it's a lot harsh.
Got you.
To you.
So let me run something back because you kind of skipped past our first meeting, like our date and stuff. Mm-hmm. You went straight to the meat and the potatoes. You kind of skipped because
you asked me for an example.
No. For when we first started, it started out on the on that, but it's fine. I wanted to know what our hug said.
Oh, I think I mentioned that you was in there trying to be safe, see what's going on. We saw you walking on the beach, a little timid, looked like you was trying not to fall.
Yeah, I was trying not to fall.
Yeah, you was trying not to fall.
But when we hugged, like his arm position, like I gotta
go back and watch that.
It was half and half. It was half and half. But from the rip, before y'all could even begin, there's things that you demanded from him, right? He thinking y'all going in a totally different direction, but y'all are unable to move forward until you get what you want. That's a sign of control.
Why is that a sign of control?
You are controlling the narrative. Like, he couldn't say no to that. Was he able to say, no, I'll do it later? I'll give you your apology. Was he able to say, I will give you your public apology later?
Okay. No.
Okay. So
but wait. But let me hold on. I gotta sort this out so I don't cross any lines. Mm-hmm. It was already discussed. You have to remember, like, you talk to these people on the phone and things of that nature, right?
I'm sure.
So it was already discussed that because of that, you know what I mean? Because I don't even, to be honest with you, the show and the people on the show probably don't even know what it was about. Because I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't indulge it or nothing. But he and I knew exactly what it was. And yeah, sometimes when you deal with somebody, there's certain things that you might have to get out the way. Just like you said, you want to tell people from the rip about your kids, and you want to know about the kids and this and the other. You won't go no further. So
no, I get it. I'm sure, because he even mentioned that he knew you didn't want to kiss him right away, right? So I'm sure. I was just giving an example.
But I don't think that's controlling, though.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Why do you think that's control? Why? Okay, why wouldn't that be considered a boundary?
No, it can be both, right? It can be both. It's what you talked about, but in order to move forward, he's unable to do anything else except for what you wanted. But I know y'all agree to it.
And I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this, and I know, like, I don't know if it's gonna be for my contract, but I'm gonna say this.
Well, don't say it if it's gonna be a risk.
Nah, it's not about the show though, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to just show how it was in there. So what happened is you guys have to remember that I'm the Ready to Love moderator, right? I'm the admin, right? And I run the group very unbiased, right? Mm-hmm. And I definitely try to stay neutral because I want to be fair on both sides, right? So what happens is people will come to me with different things and I have to decide, like, damn, is this something I want to share or something I don't want to share? Is this something, like, where it would take the cast member? You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I'm being very transparent here. Somebody came, I don't know if y'all remember, there was a page that went up called Ready to Lie. And Ready to Lie was attacking Aisha at the time. You know what I mean? And Ready to Lie hit me in my inbox and was like, yo, you know, something about her ex-husband and a old time thing. And I was like, nope, I'm not putting it, because it didn't have nothing to do with Ready to Love. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. I didn't do it. Right. So there are things that I had to pick and choose when I post up. I say this to say everybody knew that Chris started talking to somebody from the Ready to Love chain. Me as the admin, I had to put that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have looked messed up, especially later on. Then it's like, oh, well, that's why she ain't posted stuff. Now she being biased. Now she doing this. She picking her own stuff. She, you know what I mean? Like she's covering for herself. She jealous. She this, she that. So when it came up, I had to put it up no matter what my feelings was at the time. So therefore, because I had to do that publicly, I needed to be apologized to publicly. And that's what that was about. It was like, you know what? No matter what, I am the face of that group first. People see me, people respect me. They know that they can count on me, whatever the case may be. I can't let this slide. That's what it gotta be. So yeah, if he didn't do it, then it wouldn't have went nowhere. And not to mention, he did apologize by himself, whatever, but I needed that, and I did that shit for the group.
Okay.
So I don't put that under the thing of controlling. I put it as in, I don't know, occupational hazard or some shit. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what about towards the end? I think there was a comment about, and I know we were talking about apology acceptance earlier. It was about apologizing, but I think what you apologized for was for triggering him.
right.
Not necessarily. I was wondering if you were, how do I say it? If you were saying that to address what you were doing as opposed to, you know what I'm trying to say? Like when you apologize to someone, instead of addressing the things that you did, sometimes people say, I'm sorry, I made you feel that way. Right? When that's not really an apology.
Right.
So you think when I said I apologize for triggering you, you think it wasn't a real apology?
I wasn't saying that. I was asking you where that was coming from.
It was coming from not being aware. So when I became aware, I apologized for it.
Right.
You know, and at the same time, like I know you don't really believe that whole Jamaican women aggressive and stuff, and I think maybe you need to meet me.
Oh, I believe it. I know.
You know.
I know.
And
and
okay, so then so it's like, it's not I don't want people to think that it's an excuse or any things of that nature. There was a lady, it was funny because there was somebody that came into my inbox, and you believe me, like even though you might not see people dragging me in the group or whatever, they come into my inbox and Lex, you know you was wrong, Lex, you this, that, and the other. So she came in my inbox and she was like, she said, I need to let that Jamaican stuff go.
Yeah, I definitely would have handled it a little bit different, but I get it.
You are who you are. You know what I realized in dating and everything, everybody feels like they're doing everything right. Very seldom, and I'm a date coach and I'm a relationship coach. Very seldom do people think that they actually need a coach. It's usually the person who is kind of like, they kind of fell through the cracks of society in a sense, like the ones that's not really popular and stuff like that. And they've gone through different heartaches and stuff like that, where they'll decide like, you know what, let me go ahead and talk to somebody. Kind of like how I guess when it comes to therapy, like life got to kick your ass so much times before you go. So I say this to say that everybody thinks that they know You know what I mean? They know what they're doing and they know and they're capable and all of this stuff. And you go into any situation, any dating situation, thinking that you are at your best. You are the best. You are doing it, especially because nobody complain. You know, like say if you had a mate and they never complained about it, so then you got one person who complained about it, and you be like, well, damn, well, I was with such and such for so many years and they never complained or nobody ever said it. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. So therefore people tend to think, and I'm not speaking about me, this is not an excuse. People all across the board tend to think that everything they do is fine. You know, until you meet that person who I guess maybe might not be afraid to say or whatever the case may be, or, you know, because in all honesty, I've never actually been called aggressive before. I've never had it. Even though I know it, but I've never had it. Why are you laughing?
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like I said, Chris has a personality that is not
It's a little passive.
set up. Yeah,
That's
it's not
right.
set
It's a
up
little
to
passive.
receive that. Yeah, there you go. And so when you have somebody who is, you know, hardcore, you know, Jamaican woman, you know what I mean, and to the core, and you step up on the scene as yourself, you like, what's wrong? Like, what's up? And he's like, oh no, hold on. I wasn't thinking that it was going to be this strong coming on. So
yeah, I had
it's just funny because I can see, I understand both sides, and he's not prepared for that life. And so because of that, my prediction for you guys going down the road is going to be, your behavior is going to make him shrink. And men don't like to shrink, right? Feel small or feel like they can't handle, you know, a woman in certain ways or whatever. And so whenever that happens, you know, if you're not like men that are very, very passive, instead of, you know, coming out and saying, yo, I need you to calm that shit down. Here's what I need from you. It's going to be more of, well, you know, let me get, you know, all of this, you know, backpedaling and, you know, until you get to the corner and then you just shrink and you get small. And then you're like, okay, I give up. You know, I think that's what we're going to see coming down the pipe. Now, I could be wrong, but, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what I see.
I think it's going to be dependent on Lex's response to how he may switch it up. Maybe you like it, you know, if he was the aggressor. I don't know. You know, if he was pushing your boundaries, will we still call it aggression? That's going to be interesting to see if that happens. I don't know if he got that personality, but my prediction.
I think I saw in the car. What'd you say?
My prediction is I hope he don't snap.
Snap?
I hope he don't snap. Yeah, I hope he don't snap in the end.
I don't see him doing that.
Snap like what?
Out of anger. You know, out of anger, feeling trapped.
I don't think
like
he's
you
got
can't
that.
Get away.
Nah, he's not
he
that
just kind of just like not snap, like being mad. I would say like an emotional release where you just walk away. You know, like if you're not gonna hear me and you're gonna continue to just be like this, then I would much rather walk away than to risk, you know, some additional aggression, you know, because sometimes some people don't have the mental or emotional capacity to explain it. You know,
That's why I needed this show. Even though, I did send an email about it and I asked about it or whatever.
mhm,
And it was too late to get any clearance of it,
uh-huh,
so I don't know if they're gonna spank me later on, but I really didn't need it because I really respect you guys' opinions and your outlooks on
uh-huh,
certain things, and I really wanted to hear it, you
uh-huh,
know, because
And you,
I mean, in that exchange, especially because I never heard these things before, it really
uh-huh.
made me question myself and look into myself, and that's a good thing. I think anything that you experience in life, you need to sit back and reevaluate certain things and stuff. So it was good, and then hearing what you guys have to say, I really appreciate you. So I hope you know that.
yeah,
Mhm,
no doubt. And that's one of the things about these shows, man. Like being on it, you learn so much about yourself. Sometimes now, I mean, I don't know what the editing looks like on you
mhm.
guys' side. Are we seeing it like the way that it was, just a condensed version, or is there a narrative? I don't know. But I mean, if there's a moment where you see yourself on the screen watching it back, and you're like, yo, like, damn, this was wild in that moment. I probably did, go overboard. You get to take that away and build yourself and be a little bit better. So I mean, for that reason, yeah, yes, I would advise people to go on and show, but other than that, I wouldn't. I wouldn't advise nobody to do that shit.
So I do have a couple questions for you all and for the audience before we close. One of them is real near and dear to me, but the first question is, when you start to see trauma show up, in your mate's actions or whatever, how would you recognize that and handle it and respond to it?
Um, I would hope, me personally, to be honest with you, I do a lot of talking, so I would hope that I hear about the trauma before I see it, and I'm very in tuned, you know. So, and it's funny because like most things that I do, I didn't have Chris do it. Like usually when I talk to somebody, I have them take like the Myers-Briggs personality test, so we, it's kind of open discussions up that way, different things. I question about their childhood and stuff. And he shares some things, but, yes, I usually hear about it or I see it, when I see it, I mean, I don't know. I just deal with it. I think for real, like, I think we need to be real, right? Where, when you want somebody, you accept a lot of shit that you thought you wouldn't accept. Like, we gotta just be real about that shit. When you like somebody, you could say to yourself, like, I don't want a woman with kids. And then you meet this one woman that you just really like, and then she got a son or something, and you be like, shit. Well, I told myself, but all right, I'm gonna make this exception. You know what I mean? So I think when you run across somebody with that stuff, as long as it's something that you can manage, I think that you will endure it for the time. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what it is. Like, I'm not talking like schizophrenia, them type of traumas, them type of ailments. But little things, little mommy issues and daddy issues and stuff like that, you deal with it until maybe you probably can't deal with it anymore. Because if you throw everybody away for a trauma, it's like, you better get your roles.
Yeah. Nicole Murphy, if you're listening, I think she got like 8 or 9, but we can still go on a few dates. What you think, Paul?
What as far as what? I'm sorry.
As far as seeing traumas show its face in your mate,
Traumas.
reveal when you see traumas reveal themselves in your mate.
Oh, I mean, it's to me, it allows me to be a little bit more sensitive to some of the issues that I might have overthought or whatever. Um, I remember there was a point in time where I was dealing with somebody who was a covert narcissist, right? They had no idea that they had this narcissistic behavior, and that the things that they were doing were very narcissistic. I couldn't tell them that. I couldn't talk to them because narcissists believe that the way that they are living is the way that they're supposed to live. So that being said, when I started to talk about, hey, how did you grow up? Like, what was the types of things that was, that happened in your childhood? How did your mom treat you? How did your mom deal with, conflict resolution? Were you built up or things like that? And when they, started to tell me about, how they weren't built up and how they never thought they were good enough, things of that nature, I started to say, okay, I see now why you're in this place. And then, they kind of got some insight on, what they really were in terms of that. And, for me, it just wouldn't work, because I can't deal with somebody that's struggling with that type of behavior. I'm kind of straightforward, and I don't really have enough sensitivity in me to stay in there for the long haul. However, that wasn't a ground for me to mistreat, but just to retreat. You know what I'm saying? So like sometimes when you see those flaws, if you can work through them, you do the best that you can. But if you can't, you got to do the best that's for you. And and for me, when I see that, I'm out if I can't deal with it. So,
Yeah, I can respect that.
mhm.
I feel like I'm pretty sensitive to recognizing it, only because some of the things that I have been through in the past. So I have a little bit about me. I have been deployed twice, so my PTSD comes in a different form, and we all know PTSD comes in many forms, right? But mine isn't. It's not like I am afraid of a woman. I fear anything that she may do to me physically, or that I am physically aggressive. It's just the thought of her possibly snapping, possibly going off, possibly lashing out, possibly yelling, right? It almost equates to me, waiting for IEDs to go off, right? Because I have no control over those things. So instead of trying to deal with it, especially if you aren't trying to help yourself, like you said, it's easier to just walk away to protect your own peace, and that PTSD in your mate comes in, many different forms. And sometimes people don't know how to explain that, so it may feel a lot more harsh than what you think it is, just like people that were deployed to, you know, more violent places than I was. They may look at where I was and be like, "Oh, you being soft," where like I'm still getting shot at. The threat of dying is still there, So it's just something that I try to be cognizant of, and like I said, I'm really sensitive to seeing that come out, which is why I like to ask questions, right? Like, what's your relationship like with your parents? I think those are good conversations to have, because that could really let you know who you are, and what you're willing to do to address those traumas, because they're going to manifest themselves if you don't. And what you don't want to do is have it end up being violent, and now you're stuck, in a domestic situation. All right, let me stop. Yeah.
No, I think that's very, I think one thing, especially for anybody that's been in the military, I think that's something that they should definitely have to explain to a civilian, because a lot of people don't think about it, especially if they see you walking around talking and everything seems normal and stuff like that. You don't really know. And it's funny because even myself, like, I didn't have any I never really came across anybody that was in the military until later on. I think I was actually a manager at a VFW. VFW is like for veterans. It's a bar, and we would have the TV on, and it would be like shooting shows or like military show, you know what I'm saying? And then you could see the agony on people. So that's what made me really learn about the PTSD that people that are in the military experience. And it's not a thing, like it's like I just never thought about it. I don't know. I guess it just wasn't in my world. It wasn't, it wasn't anything for me to think about. So if you are dating someone, I think that's something that just them understanding it and what they know, and what you experience and stuff like that is something that should be set up front.
Yeah, and just to say, just to talk over top of that, I feel like for our veterans are the worst treated people in this country, and what makes me exceptionally pissed off is that they give police officers more respect than they do for somebody that goes overseas to put their life on the line to defend this country from, everything. And when these people come back home, they're greeted with, a big slap in the face. And, like at the end of the day, although, they have a VA and things like that, veterans should have priority over everything. Like when you come home, you should have you should never see a homeless vet. You should never see vets struggling. There should never be any, anything like we should be rolling out the carpet, and we do the direct opposite in this country. I hate it.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right, that's
Just
my
real quick.
PSA.
Got you. Just real quick, Jay does bring up a good point that we do neglect that. Vets aren't the only ones that suffer from PTSD. I've done many talks on PTSD, but I have some cousins that have experienced more death than me and killing, than me, and they're still teenagers. So I wish they had more programs for the kids in those situations, because that doesn't go away. All it takes is one traumatic incident, really, to scar a person for life.
You know what I Googled last night?
Mhm.
Can TV shows and movies give you PTSD?
I mean, it
And
can trigger it. It can trigger it.
no, it can give it to you too. You know what I mean? Like, especially for children, sometimes they let these children, they watch these adult shows and stuff, and they're seeing all this stuff and things of that nature. That can scar them as well.
Yeah, I feel you. GTA gives me anxiety, so I believe it. Like,
What gives you anxiety?
playing GTA 5 gives me
Oh,
anxiety, because you don't know when somebody may pop out on you. But one last question for the group, for anyone listening: which couple surprised you the most?
what couple surprised you the most?
That's very interesting, because I don't feel like, I'll tell you, the couple that surprised me the most was what's his name? Haitian dude.
Irvin.
Alicia and Irvin?
Yeah. Because I thought, like, at first glance, I thought that they were going to be, a couple that really were going to do some things. They looked like they had, pretty good personalities separately. And then when they came together, it was like, okay, but then everything just started going downhill quickly. And I was shocked about that.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go with Jared and
oh yeah,
Charlie. Like, the hits just kept coming.
That's true.
Oof.
That's true.
I thought y'all was
Yeah.
going. I thought y'all was really going to drag me. I got a question. You think Chris liked me?
Oof.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I'm going to say that Chris is tolerating you right now. Is what I'm getting on screen. That he's tolerating you, and he's uncertain about you, and kind of where you guys are going.
Ty, Mr. Politically Correct.
I think in his mind, it's just a lot of instability there right now from what we're seeing. And it seemed like he just can't seem to settle in on the progress in the relationship. If that makes sense. Like it's a lot of it just seems like it's just some mini landmines that are there, and you can sometimes see the surprise in his face when you say something or when you do something, and now he's got to react and respond and then remember what you guys talked about,
said,
and then he'll be like, "Oh, okay." But
He-
as far
he-
as some, huh?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think he's getting a chance just yet. I give it like P.O. said, he's kind of tolerating it. If you want my opinion, he's just kind of coasting.
So
if you make him look good, he'll make you look good.
Bingo. And I heard him say something, in his confessional. You know how they do that. And he goes, "Oh, so today we're going to body paint. And this gives Alexis the perfect excuse to be aggressive towards me or whatever."
Yeah.
So
It was.
To tell me what to do or something like that, he said.
Yeah, whatever statement that he made in that moment. And I thought about that. And I'm like, damn, that's on your mind?
But it already happened, though.
I think I gotta rewatch that.
So
The only thing I remember when Clay was grabbing the girl's butt and he was like, "Now this gonna make Alexis think she could do whatever she want to do."
Yeah, that part.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't do nothing. I didn't do shit.
But to make that statement, he's actually worried about you doing something. And so for that, it's like I have to tolerate this stuff from her because it's a green light for somebody else.
Yeah. He's still on eggshells right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't have to worry. He didn't have to worry about it because I didn't do shit. I think by that, for real, I think by that time, I think I learned. Like, I was just like, okay, got you.
I'm going to let him be a man.
What you mean? The whole reason me touching him is because he was the man.
I'm joking.
I'm about to say. Well, you gotta be careful with these jokes because they be dragging me in these streets.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, we was a little bit nice to you tonight.
Yeah,
we didn't dig in.
It's all good. I appreciate.
I'm sure we'll have time.
Nah, I mean, I call it how it is, man. And like I said, understanding, being from the culture and everything, I know, like what it is to deal with a Jamaican woman versus dealing with, just a typical round-the-way girl, and there's a huge difference. And so, and like I said, when I saw that on screen, I said, oh, I bet he don't even know, like, this is typical. And like I said, if he went to Jamaica and, and had, they would be on him in a different way, and it would not be positive at all. So.
I saw somebody in the comments mention something about the story that I said with my ex, right? And I know it sounds like I hit him, but I didn't. All I did was hold my fist right here, and he came and he turned it to my fist. So if you weren't
Yeah.
doing anything wrong, you wouldn't have got hit. You know what I'm saying? So
You sound like what
Now
she
that-
said is just wine.
Oh yeah. Now that one right there. Yeah, I forgot about that one. You know, I think I got to beat you up for that one, like a little bit. I got to beat up on you because that was wrong.
that was not wrong. Listen,
That was wrong.
yo, my ex was so disrespectful. He turned around. He turned all the way around like this. It's like he forgot I was in the car. So he like, crack. That thing was like,
You wild as hell. You wild as hell for that. You wild as hell.
he didn't hit him. So if somebody like this, that's just like if I was standing right here and you turned into me. Like, I'm just standing there.
Do y'all remember the previews for next week? I think it was only like 2 that I wanted to mention. I think we see Jared in the boom boom room. Jared and Charlie in the boom boom room. And then I think there might be one with Clavacia getting the cold shoulder. So I'm wondering how far that went because she wouldn't even let the man talk. So, but it's his own fault too. So I don't really have no sympathy for that. But so yeah. All right. Paul, you got any closing comments? Anyone in the chat got any closing comments about where you think the show's gonna go and what you think of the show so far? Because I think it's good. I think it's showing a lot of different personalities. It's showing a lot of different apology acceptance styles, conversations that are missing, emotional maturity, lack of emotional maturity, being in that group setting. You could see how different personalities come out when alcohol, is introduced. You could see them in how they are in one-on-one situations and in group situations. And then I also feel like you could see the ones who really care enough to put in the work.
Right. Well, I'll say this. My closing thoughts are this. Predictability, there's about 2 relationships that's going to come up out of this. Unfortunately, one won't be Lex. And then let me go down the line of my prediction. Irvin and Alicia, they're done. Charlie and Jared, not so much. Tatiana and Clavacia, maybe. Sinko and Jay and Brittany and Ty, I think, is going to be the ones that come out as, some relationship folks. I think there's going to be some hard conversations probably in the next episode or 2. So that's my predictions.
Yeah. Close. All right. Jay.
You funny.
Can't win them all.
You funny.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
ahead.
experience. No, I was just going to say it's just the experience, and if nothing else, you know how to do it better next time. So
yeah,
that's what it is.
Do that mean I'm not ready to love?
I'm not saying that.
I just think this situation with you and Chris probably
this will probably
one to have on TV.
Wait, what?
I think this is great TV actually, because I have somebody that doesn't understand. We are 2 people that are misaligned. One person thinks one thing and one person thinks the other, and each thinks that they're doing the right thing, which is the wrong thing for each of them. So
yeah, like I definitely think we're gonna end up learning a lot from unfortunately seeing y'all fail. But
Yeah, but you know what? But separately, I think that Chris is really a genuinely good dude. He's probably somebody that's hella funny. You know, you catch him at the bar or something. You know, have a couple bourbons or something with the kid, and you know y'all go ride horses and do some cowboy shit. You know, he seemed like that type of guy.
all right, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna be looking for from Chris. I am going to be looking to see if he genuinely is aggressive and try to go at you and talks about
Ain't gonna do that.
liking you, being with you, seeing a future with you. Anything that alludes to any of that is what I'm looking for. And if I don't see that, then I'm going to continue to say he's coasting.
Well, you know, he ain't do that shit in Ready to Love, so he ain't gonna do it on the Mets, Never Ever Mets.
So I thought about that. So in that situation, you have to look at all the other people, all the other women on the show. For him to be, he was the ringer, but not really getting a lot of play as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the thing, though. Why not? And so now, you know, maybe we're seeing the other half of the unseen roll out on tape right now in this moment. Because maybe there was other aggressive women. Who knows? So
okay,
there's
yeah.
that.
Maybe could have been timing, could have been a bunch of things. But
yeah,
we're gonna see. We got a bunch of one-on-one time.
Yeah. I'm loving this, man. So
and y'all already kissing, so we're gonna see.
Oh yeah, there was kisses. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we ain't see like a kiss. It was just like a.
Yeah, I know. True.
It looked like it was by accident. Really.
Yeah.
Well, it was by accident.
That was on purpose.
It was like a hug, but you was in my face. All right, let's.
We didn't kiss on the beach. We didn't kiss on the beach.
It wasn't even a real kiss. I know it wasn't even a real kiss.
We didn't kiss on the beach.
Y'all touched lips.
Not on the beach.
Y'all touched lips. What was it? Episode 2, episode 3? I think it was towards the end.
I don't know.
All right. So, yeah, I want to thank you all for coming out. Lex or Paul, do you have any closing comments?
Lex?
Thank you guys for tuning in. You know that there is a Never Ever Mets Facebook group. You know, just like the Ready to Love is the Never Ever Met. Feel free to go in there and share your thoughts and concerns and stuff like that. I'm with it. You know, you could talk about me. I'm fine. You know, I don't really see it. I don't pay attention to it. Other than that, you know, check me out on my Instagram. Follow your girl. It's your girl, Lex Royal. Be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then, you know, it's your man. You already know who it is. So I do want to talk to y'all really quick, briefly, you know, about my life. And that is, there is a website that I have called www.ptaylorlux.com. It's on your screen right now. And I need for you guys to just go there and just support the vision, right? And because I don't work, I don't have a job. This is my job. This is what I do. It's my business. I'm a business owner. And then there's tariffs and all this other stuff that I got going on, you know. And I'm going, and just so you guys know, I am buying your products from Milan, from from overseas, and I'm sourcing the best quality materials. I lie to you not. The fabrics are awesome. Things like that. There's so much stuff going on with that. So check me out. That was it. All right, guys.
Definitely check out the Facebook group as well as Paul's website. It was a pleasure having you. We will be back next week to discuss episode 4. And I will see you all next week. Thanks again.
All right.
Tell a friend to watch Never Ever Mets Friday at 8.
See ya.